It's another really good question. I think just kind of in this season of figuring out what exactly that looks like for me and what's aligned with what's on my heart and what I want to see this grow into. I want to see this community continue to grow and to be a safe space, a resource for our, local entrepreneurs.
Welcome to the Montana Podcast, where we uncover the best-kept secrets of Big Sky Country. Join us as we highlight the hidden gems and unique stories that make Montana the place we know and love. Whether you're a local or a visitor, get ready to experience the true spirit of Montana, one story at a time.
Welcome back to the Montana Podcast, where I am here to share the best-kept secrets in Montana. I'm Robert Delude, and I'm the podcast dude. Today I have a very special guest, Jason.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
excited.
So, Jason, who are you, and what do you do?
My name is Jason O'Neill. I'm an entrepreneur. Helena, Montana is home for myself. I have a wonderful family here, wife and a couple kiddos. I started a co-working community called Sidecar about 7 years ago. That's my jam right now. That's how we met.
This podcast is not officially sponsored by Sidecar, but we are recording in Sidecar.
Yes.
So
a sidecar session.
A sidecar session.
Yes. It's got legs.
It does. So you have a wife, you have a couple kids. How old are your kids?
My oldest is going to be 12 at the end of September. And then my youngest, she is 7. So oldest just started junior high, and youngest is in 2nd grade. So we're a very busy family right now.
Yeah, that's super cool. Congrats, man.
Thanks.
So you started the Sidecar 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
What is the origin story of that?
Yeah, so I started Sidecar out of a deep personal need, really just for myself. I was in corporate health insurance for years and moonlit as a photographer, and hit a point where it's like, I really want to jump full-time into this. I'm really enjoying it as a creative. You understand how exciting that is. Quickly realized how much I missed working around people and how important community was for myself. I found myself really lonely, isolated, and depressed working by myself, lamenting over some beverages with a good friend who, at the time, he was a remote worker. Like, dude, let's get an office, just the two of us. If we're going to feel like this, let's do it together. That was about 7 years ago. Fast forward to now, where we're at today. I have learned that community is core to who we are as humans, and it turns out there's a lot of other folks in our communities who feel the same way and have a desire to experience some sort of a social office experience and growing their own community.
I love it. I've been in a few other co-working spaces here in Helena and a few in Indianapolis, and they just felt like corporate BS. It's like, what's the talk around the water cooler? They sucked. I like this. This is a chill vibe.
Yeah.
What you got going on here, I like it. I haven't been in the Missoula location yet, but the same vibe is over in Bozeman.
Mm-hmm. I think all of us desire authentic connections and opportunities to collaborate and connect with other folks. We are so busy during our days with work and family, and our time is the most valuable thing. It's easy in those moments to kind of have those superficial conversations, but walk away and go like, man, that really didn't want that. I really want someone I can actually connect with. And so when we design our spaces, whether it's events, how it looks, who's in our community, we're intentional about creating environments that are more conducive for authentic connections and those serendipitous interactions where people can just hang out and talk and go like, hey, you're stressing about this project last week. How's it going?
Yeah.
And whatnot. And really just kind of being a part of each other's lives.
Yeah. I love that you're going for the authentic connection, especially in a world where social media looks glamour and fun and on a yacht. I'm such a successful entrepreneur. I got a yacht.
I'm still waiting for my yacht.
Oh, yours didn't come in the mail?
No, it's waiting at Spring Meadow. So.
That's probably why you haven't got it yet.
Yep.
The news is fake. To have a real conversation with someone, especially if you're a remote worker, you're going to hop on a Zoom call and have that work Whoa, yes. I love how you created this community and you've expanded the community into 2 other major cities. Well, not 2 other. Helena really isn't a major city. But you got one in Missoula and Bozeman.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to expand to Bozeman and Missoula?
Yeah, good question. When I started this about 7 years ago, it was just myself and a good friend. We started an office, and the office we were at was downtown, and the rest of the floor was fairly vacant. More folks in our own community heard of what we were doing. Started to kind of raise their hands and go like, hey, I'm working from home too. Can I come work with you guys? And so at that point, light bulb went off for us of like, hey, this could kind of be a fun side hustle. Like, if I can get my desk or office paid for,
Yeah,
let's keep doing it. And then I'm also in turn adding to my own community, developing new relationships, helping be a conduit to growth. For about 3 years, we slowly grew the space in Helena to a couple dozen members. And then COVID hit. And for us at that point, the reality I thought that I was facing was like, you're going to have to shut it down. So you're taking the one thing you sell, being community, and going, okay, you can't have that. At that point, I had no idea what it would open up for us with organizations being forced to experiment with remote work. For us, there was another light bulb that went off because through some relationships, we found opportunities to expand into some of the larger communities in Montana, being Missoula and Bozeman. And we started to see much more of a need through some, incredible mentors and advisors and resources. Was given the opportunity to kind of go, okay, you want to keep growing this? Let's buckle down, let's do this. So we did a small seed round, found a great space in Missoula, and redid it. And then we found a great space in the heart of downtown Bozeman with a great location. And at that time, there really wasn't many options for co-working communities. And said, you know what, like, if we're going to run, now's the time to do that.
So I know you kind of alluded to it, why somebody would come here, but not your elevator pitch. If you were going to explain to someone what the Sidecar is in conversation, how would you explain that? Why would somebody want to come here?
Simply put, Sidecar is a co-working community. It's a space for entrepreneurs, creators, innovators who are really looking for a space to connect with other individuals and a space to get shit done. There's something to be said about being surrounded by people who are working hard, even if you're not just sitting and interacting with everybody constantly. There's still some motivation there as you're seeing all of that happen. But really, like, Sidecar is a space not only to work, but to belong to a authentic, solid community. And, I can walk in these doors every day knowing I need this space just as much as everybody else that comes into our community. It's so fun to take a step back and hear and see these stories of folks who didn't have community before and how their lives have changed by being here, whether that's career changes, new friends, mentors, etc. It's been really fun to take that step back and look and go like, okay, you guys are making a tangible difference in lives, and not just members here in our co-working spaces, but more so also just our own communities outside of our 4 walls. All of our locations are in the heart of downtowns. And the hope of that is, if you're bringing 40, 50, 60 people back downtown, when you're hungry, when you need to shop, when you want to go out, you're not at home, you're not going to go to the fridge, you're not going to jump on Amazon. Instead, you're going to walk out the doors of the co-working space and walk along Main Street, eat at these local establishments, shop at these local mom and pop shops, and really support the local economy at the same time.
I love that, because that's why I want to have the Montana podcast, to showcase small businesses in Montana and to keep Montana and those non-Montanans out, a kind way.
Yeah.
But I
think there's definitely value in, because I know there's a lot of rub in, with COVID and a lot of folks moving here. We live here for a reason, right? We love where we get to live and where we get to play. And I think Montana, we're a very play first live first, work second community. And if somebody's moving here to chase a dream of their own, my hope is that we can lock arms with them and build this together. If they're willing to contribute to our local community and economy and work with us, let's build those dreams together.
If they can add value, collaborate, all for that. But just if somebody from an out of state, financial situation comes in and just making it harder for Montanans. I love change. I love growth.
Yeah.
But I also love the people in Montana more. So
Yeah.
if we can find a happy medium, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, my family and I were still renting, and I think we'd been trying to buy a house for a while. It's really difficult right now. It makes it really hard, especially for younger folks, younger families who want to put roots down. That's really difficult.
I'm originally from Montana, 5th generation, and I almost stayed in Indiana because houses were $300,000 cheaper there. And I was like, I could buy a house, a small condo on the golf course, and it still would be cheaper.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I want to get back to Montana.
Right.
House is cool, but if I don't have my family around me, then I have an empty house.
Right, exactly. At the end of the day, you're going, what do I value? I want my family, that connection, that security. I would also like a house on a golf course or a lake someday.
But Indiana, cornfields.
Do you guys have hills there?
Maybe a hill over a cornfield.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think the biggest hill I saw was an on-ramp to an exit. So
Yeah.
that was it. So what's your vision for future Sidecar?
That's another really good question. I think just kind of in this season to figure out what exactly that looks like for me and what's aligned with what's on my heart and what I want to see this grow into. I want to see this community continue to grow and to be a safe space, a resource for our, local entrepreneurs, our remote workers, really a third space for folks, because we have our homes and then we have our traditional office. I think there's a large desire and a need for something in the middle, like that social office experience and what we're doing. Being in Montana, coworking is still something that's fairly new, so there's not a lot of awareness around it. But I want this community to continue to grow, to be a resource for those folks, a space for individuals to call home, and a place for people to collaborate, grow dreams, come up with ideas. We right now have 3 locations. There's other communities we want to activate in, like your Billings, your Kalispell, et cetera. But I'd really love to get into a lot of our smaller communities as well, where there just really isn't a whole lot of resources or support for those entrepreneurs. Because I think as we've grown this business and gotten to know a lot of others that have grown their ideas in the state, we found that the entrepreneurial ecosystem itself really was lacking quite a bit. So there's lots of great organizations and individuals doing incredible things, but everyone's kind of siloed. And so our hope is to kind of be this station where we can bring everybody together and go oh, Robert, you're starting this podcast. You want to tell stories of, innovators and thought leaders throughout the state. Here's some folks we know who are doing great things. And, they probably know these folks as well. And to really just kind of be a catalyst for those dreams and ideas.
I love it. That is very similar to what I want to do. I love that I picked this place. When I came back to Montana, I was surrounded by some of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world.
Yeah.
Not in the world, but influencers. Very successful people. I wouldn't say the world, but with my job, we do a lot of cool shit. And leaving that to come back to Montana, to a place 5 years ago where I tried to do this, if you take a selfie in the gym, people stare at you.
Yeah.
The world's changing. Content is slowly coming back. It's coming. People aren't so weird. Coming to the co-working space and seeing that I'm not alone in all the things that I want to do makes me feel so much better.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Absolutely. That's our why. Initially, when I was coming up with the idea of Sidecar and growing this community, it was if I have some wins, I want someone to celebrate those with. If I'm in my room at home and I finish a project, I'm high-fiving myself. It's not as fun. But what I quickly realized too is not only for that, like we also need a community and support for when things aren't that great.
Yeah.
Where you can go like, hey, I'm struggling with this KPI or I'm struggling with this. You guys have any ideas? Can we bounce some stuff back and forth? And just really being able to leverage the talent and resources and knowledge that the community has as a whole, I think is one of the biggest benefits of a space like this. When folks think of co-working, most just think a bunch of coder bros. But if you look across the community we have, you have nonprofits, you have engineers, you have attorneys, you have all sorts of different sectors represented who are not only doing incredible work in Helena, Bozeman, or Missoula, or the state of Montana, they're doing it countrywide and worldwide as well. And just going like, whoa, these kind of things are happening in Montana. They're happening at Sidecar. Really cool to have a front row seat to that change.
A few last questions for you. What is the hidden gem in Montana of yours?
It's a great place to just get away.
Anywhere in Montana?
In Helena, what I love is I can hop on a bike and be at a trailhead in less than 5 minutes and immediately have access to hundreds of miles of trails, and they end at a brewery. It's like the perfect treat at the end of that. Montanans are very proud of Montana. They're very proud to be a Montanan. And so there's a lot of pride in what we do, what we have access to. And I think we have a lot of work to continue to be good stewards of it as well.
Awesome. Where can people find you on the socials?
So they can find Sidecar on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And then myself, I'm Jason O'Neill. Pretty easy on Instagram. I'm just Jason O'Neill. It had to change it from the Skater Boy 007 from back in junior high.
That was you?
Sorry.
Wow. I wanted that username.
They can check out the community online at thesidecar.club. Look at Helena, Missoula, and Bozeman locations, set up tours, ask questions. We're happy to show the space around and get to know people.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks for coming in today, Jason.
Hey, absolutely, buddy. Thanks so much.